October 10th alert. Your name was written in fire last night in heaven. God says you must open this before sunset, or the message will burn away. Don't wait. And so it was. While the world slept beneath a blanket of silence, a flame descended in heaven's courts. On the night of October 9th into the early breath of October 10th, the ink of eternity ignited. Scrolls that once bore names in heavenly ink were touched by the fire of the Holy One, and what was written in silence began to burn with divine announcement. This was not mere writing. This was a branding of destiny, a fire only heaven understands, one that marks the soul, not for destruction, but for divine remembrance and eternal authority. Not every name was written. Not every soul was summoned. This was not for the crowds, the curious, or the comfortable. This was for the call, the ones who, even now, feel a trembling in their chest that doesn't make sense. The ones who have been restless since the early morning, carrying a weight they cannot name. It is not anxiety. It is not fear. It is the echo of heaven's flame, whispering, "You were seen. You were summoned. You were sealed." Heaven doesn't speak by accident. The Spirit of the living God moved through the veil of time during that sacred night, reaching forward, backward, and beyond, selecting, sifting, sealing. And if this message found you, it's because your spirit responded before your mind could catch up. You were chosen in fire, not in comfort. This is a time-sensitive call, issued not by man, but by the throne itself. The scroll was open. The flame wrote. And now the heavens wait for your response. There is a boundary written into this day, a spiritual window open until sunset. After that, the flame begins to lift. The scrolls begin to seal, and what was accessible now becomes delayed. This is not manipulation. This is alignment. A divine timestamp has been placed on your name, and it demands your awareness. You are not imagining the urgency. You are not fabricating the pressure. You are feeling heaven move. And heaven is watching who opens what was written and who allows the fire to fade unanswered. Type "I receive my name in fire" in the comments if this finds you. Blessing code 1010 is igniting over your life. By the rising of this day's sun, a line was drawn in fire. This day, this hour, this breath, it is not ordinary. By the authority of the Most High, a line was drawn in fire when the sun cracked the horizon. Not drawn in ink. Not etched in sand. Not spoken in whispers. It was declared in fire. It separated the yesterday you endured from the today you've been called into. You may not have felt the shift with your five senses, but in the realm of spirit, heaven roared. I, Michael, Archangel of Fire and Messenger of the Throne, have come not to entertain you, but to remind you that you were summoned in the night. The scroll was open. The flame descended. The host of heaven stood in silence as your name was traced in flame, not for punishment, but for positioning. The angel of the written flame was dispatched by the command of the Father, carrying with him a scroll not made by human hands. When your name was inscribed upon it, the very vibration of the spiritual realm shifted. You were not forgot. You were not overlooked. You were not passed by. Heaven saw you, Heaven marked you. Heaven remembered. By the rising of this morning's sun, the time of divine separation began. No one can cross the line for you. No pastor, no prophet, no intercessor can walk through this flame in your place. This is personal. This is sacred. This is fire meeting name, and heaven waits to see who steps into what has already been written. Before the setting of today's sun, something in heaven will shift, and it will either confirm your obedience or close the window for the season's call. I speak not to frighten, but to awaken. You must know, beloved soul, that fire doesn't visit without reason. It is either sent to consume or to commission. And this flame has been sent to commission you. This message did not find you by accident. You may have felt it even before you opened this. A strange energy, a divine pause in your atmosphere, an unspoken pressure on your chest. That was the tug of eternity. That was the whisper of the scroll. That was the fire pulling your name from the shadows of delay into the furnace of divine remembrance. Heaven does not miss. Your name was not written in flame by mistake. There are no spiritual typos. There are no accidental markings in glory. If this message stirred something in you, if your heart quickened, your eyes welled up, your spirit leaned in, it's because this word belongs to you. And not everyone will understand it. Not everyone was called. Not everyone was awakened in the night. But you were. You are not being hunted. You are being highlighted. You are not being warned. You are being welcomed into a moment of destiny. The fire that wrote your name is not seeking to destroy you. It is seeking to deliver you from the weight of old seasons, dead labels, and false delays. So I say again, with heaven as my witness, before the next setting sun, something in heaven will shift. Will it shift with your agreement, or without your participation? You must decide. Heaven has moved. Will you? Type I am marked by fire in the comments if your spirit bears witness. Blessing code 888 is surrounding you now. They know your name was written, but they don't know why. Even now, there is a stirring. It is not loud, but it is loud enough to wake something ancient inside you. You feel it, not in your mind, but in the marrow of your bones. You feel it in the strange stillness that follows you through the day, in the subtle glances of others who don't know why they are drawn to you, confused by you, or even resisting you. Something is shifting around you because something shifted above you. Your name was whispered last night in the heavenly courts. But that whisper wasn't soft. It roared like a fire through the corridors of both light and shadow. It did not go unnoticed. You think you're walking through this day like normal, but all of creation is watching. The spiritual realm is paying attention to your steps, your silence, your sighs. Your name echoed in places the flesh cannot hear. And now, you wonder why today feels strange. Why people's energy feels off. Why conversations feel hollow. Why your emotions rise and fall without warning. It is because something invisible has touched the visible. The realms are brushing against each other, and your soul, being more eternal than you realize, is reacting. You are not paranoid. You are not unstable. You are not dramatic. You are being observed. Light watches you because your name was written in fire. Shadow watches you because they still don't understand why. There are spirits that remember your past trying to figure out why heaven has highlighted your future. There are unseen forces watching, whispering among themselves, wondering what this sudden glow over your name could mean. They sensed your upgrade before you could. You're walking in a realm where the fire has spoken, but your reality has not caught up yet. That's why you feel suspended, not here, not there. You are being pulled from one dimension of purpose into another. And that dissonance, that confusion, is not punishment. It's proof. You are no longer who you were, but you have not fully stepped into who you are becoming. The mood of this day is not accidental. The tension, the tiredness, the unexplainable peace that follows sudden waves of emotion. These are not random emotional disruptions. These are the tremors of transition. Your name has activated movement in the unseen. What you're feeling is the vibration of prophecy approaching manifestation. Some people will treat you differently today and won't know why. Their spirit is reacting to what their mind cannot interpret. Some may avoid you. Others may cling to you. Some may question you, disrespect you, or elevate you without explanation. But none of it is about them. It is about what was written. Your spirit has been marked, and your surroundings are catching up to what heaven has already declared. So don't dismiss your tears today. Don't ignore the strange heaviness in your chest. Don't brush away the sudden pull to be alone. These are not emotional glitches. They are spiritual signals. The fire is near. The flame has risen. And now, everything around you must realign. Let this moment disturb you into divine awareness. Because only those who are spiritually awake will interpret this day correctly. And only those who discern the disruption will walk into the destiny behind it. Type "I am anointed" in the comments if this message is pulling on your spirit. Blessing code 1122 is now activated. If this message has stirred your soul, if you know this word carries the weight of heaven's voice, then I invite you to join the mission. This isn't just about videos. It's about souls. Every time you support through a YouTube Super Thanks, membership, or a direct gift through PayPal, you're not giving to a platform. You're sowing into divine alignment. God is using this ministry to ignite hearts, awaken the sleeping, and deliver fire-written words like this to those who need it most. I hear the Spirit say, "Give, and it shall be given unto you. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over." Not just finances, but revelation, protection, breakthrough. When you give, you're not just helping a message go out. You're multiplying miracles in someone else's life. I feel the call go out even now. I am one of the 10 called to sow into the fire today. If that's you, don't delay. The giving links are in the description, and your obedience could unlock someone's next season. Support this prophetic mission and watch how heaven honors what you release. Step into the flame with your gift. Don't hesitate, act in the fire. Blessing oil is being poured over givers now. The enemy reacts when a name is written in fire. The moment your name was etched in flame, it sent a ripple, not just through the halls of heaven, but through the pits of opposition. It was not just a marking. It was an announcement. The writing was not silent. It thundered in the spirit. The fire didn't just record your name. It declared war on every force that ever tried to silence it. That's why you feel the tension. That's why there's been resistance. Not because you're failing, but because you're rising. Make no mistake, every whisper against your name, every delay, every distraction, every wave of confusion in this season is a response to what heaven just confirmed. This is not a punishment. This is the evidence that your spiritual location has changed. You're no longer wandering. You're being summoned. And when heaven summons, the enemy panics. You see, when your name was written in flame, it was not just a divine acknowledgement. It was a legal transaction. Fire in heaven is not ornamental. It is judicial. It carries authority. It enforces verdicts. When heaven writes a name in fire, the spiritual realm shifts its posture toward that soul. Your case has been heard. Your process has been reviewed. And now, the heavens have ruled in your favor. But rulings from above will always be resisted by forces below. The conflict you're feeling is the sound of your old season breaking. It is not an attack against your weakness. It's a violent reaction to your elevation. Let the silence of God not be mistaken for absence. Let the delay not be misunderstood as denial. What you are feeling is divine warfare cloaked in stillness. Because heaven is testing you, not to torment, but to temper you. Heaven doesn't forge weapons in noise. Heaven forges warriors in fire. This is the stillness before the sealing. This is the hush before the thunder. And those who move before being refined miss the moment of activation. You must understand, when a name is written in flame, it becomes a weapon in the hand of God. That is why the resistance has increased. The devil doesn't fight what isn't a threat. He doesn't war against what poses no problem. Your restlessness is not spiritual immaturity. It is spiritual graduation. You are being refined under the weight of what's been revealed. So don't misinterpret the confusion. Don't interpret the delay as disqualification. Heaven is not ignoring you. Heaven is separating you. The enemy cannot unwrite what God has burned into eternity, so his only tactic is distraction. To get you to move in fear instead of faith. To pull you out of alignment before the sealing completes. But let the fire finish its work. Your enemies don't understand what happened last night. All they know is something shifted. They sensed their influence weakening. They felt their grip loosening. And now they scramble to reassert what God has already overruled. But the fire does not lie. What heaven has written, no hell can erase. So now the test stands before you. Will you trust the fire or retreat to the familiar? Will you wait on God's signal or move prematurely to ease your discomfort? The fire will either refine you or pass you. But if you can stand in the stillness, if you can hold position in the tension, if you can let the unseen war finish its course, then the fire will become your seal, not your scorch. The heavens are watching. The scroll is still open. But the line is being drawn. Those who trust the silence will inherit the flame. And those who run from it will forfeit what was already theirs. Type "I trust the fire" in the comments if you refuse to move out of alignment. Blessing code 7777 is surrounding your obedience. Something shifts at sunset, whether you move or not. Time is no longer neutral. The hours are not passive. The ticking of this day is not routine. Every second carries the weight of eternal consequence. A moment that began in fire will not end in comfort. It will end in movement. And whether that movement includes you or bypasses you depends on how you respond before the final light fades from the sky. You have entered a prophetic window, a divine interval where heaven has leaned in. The scroll is still open, but the angel stands waiting. The flame that wrote your name now begins to flicker, not in weakness, but in signal. The sun that rises today is not just a light in the sky. It is a countdown in the spirit. By the time it sets, destinies will be sealed, doors will be shut, and assignments will either be embraced or handed to another. This is not a warning rooted in fear. This is a fire call born from divine order. God is not threatening you. God is awakening you. Because when fire touches a name, movement follows. The question is, will you move with the flame, or will the flame move on without you? There are angelic watchers stationed even now, holding scrolls that must be sealed by the time the final rays of this day vanish beneath the horizon. This is not poetic. This is prophetic. Heaven works in patterns, and fire has a rhythm. The pattern has begun. The rhythm has started. And right now, even as these words reach you, something is preparing to close or release, to bind or to break, to advance or to archive. Many think they have time. Many believe they can respond later. But the spirit realm does not operate in convenience. It moves in kairos, the divine timing of heaven. And kairos does not wait for permission. It invites, and then it moves. Whether you move with it determines whether you inherit the fire or merely observe its smoke from a distance. This sunset, this one, is not like other sunsets. It is not just a beautiful sky. It is a veil descending. It is the conclusion of a heavenly transaction that began when your name was written in fire. And once the sun sets, so does the moment. The scroll will not burn, but it will close. And what is sealed cannot be accessed again in the same way. You are not being forced, but you are being summoned. This is an invitation with a deadline. Not a deadline of fear, but a deadline of fulfillment. God is moving with or without your confirmation. But his desire is that you move with him. That you step into the flame while it is still open. That you declare your yes before the ink cools, before the fire settles, before the window shuts. In the next 12 hours, something eternal will respond to your temporary obedience. Something unseen will either rise to meet your faith or remain dormant because of hesitation. This is your proving ground, your altar moment, your Elijah hour when the fire is already falling and the only question that remains is, will you answer it before the light disappears? So hear this clearly. Heaven's window narrows as light fades. And what you do before dusk will echo in eternity. The weight of your yes is heavier now than it has ever been. The value of your agreement is magnified in this moment. You are not just deciding for yourself. You are standing as a hinge between generations, bloodlines, nations. Move before sunset. Speak before the seal. Align before the flame withdraws. Type "I will not miss my moment" in the comments if your spirit is stirred. Blessing code 555 is moving with you toward the evening. Be still. Do not speak fear into the fire. Now is not the time to explain. Now is not the hour to justify your trembling spirit to those who do not understand the weight of divine timing. When heaven writes your name in fire, it is not asking for the world's approval. It is asking for your obedience. It is asking for your stillness. It is asking for your agreement in silence. The fire knows who you are. The flame recognizes the sound of your surrender. It does not need noise to validate your obedience. It needs peace. Heaven is not looking for loud declarations right now. It is searching for those who know how to stand quietly when the fire is present. Do not rush to act out of panic. Do not speak just to be heard. You are being instructed to protect the flame that has touched your name. This fire is holy. It responds to reverence. God is calling you to stillness because stillness is not weakness. Stillness is not passivity. Stillness is strategy. It is the divine pause between the fire falling and the fire fulfilling. In these hours before sunset, the Spirit of God is moving like a whisper through the atmosphere. You are being wrapped in a mantle of silence, not because you are forgotten, but because you are being guarded. Every great movement of heaven is preceded by a moment where the chosen are told to be still and know. Heaven is at war over what was written about you last night. Angels are on assignment. The fire that touched your name is consuming things in the spirit that you cannot see, breaking altars you never knew existed, silencing lies that were spoken when you were too young to defend yourself. The fire is working, but it requires your stillness to finish the assignment. Do not speak fear into the fire. Do not confess doubt in the middle of your refinement. Do not curse what heaven has sent to cleanse. The words of your mouth in this hour carry weight in the courtroom of heaven. One wrong declaration can delay what the fire came to accelerate. God is calling you to stand in reverent trust, not to scramble in restless panic. You may feel the warfare increase, but don't confuse warfare with loss. You are not losing. You are being fortified. You are being sealed. You are being hidden for a reason. The more silent the fire requires you to be, the more powerful the outcome that is being prepared. Obedience is your shield. Silence is your sword. Prayer is your posture. Make space for the flame. Anoint your atmosphere. Cleanse your thoughts. Make room in your heart for what God is finalizing. The stillness you step into now will become the platform from which God launches your next move. This is the quiet before the breakthrough, the hush before the heavens part. And only those who stay in alignment will see the fullness of what's coming. You must guard your gate, your mouth, your mind, your atmosphere. Protect your flame. Not everyone is allowed to speak into this moment. Not everyone is permitted to witness this sealing. The instructions are clear. Do not distract the fire. Do not speak out of turn. Let God finish what He started. Heaven fights when you don't. The fire remembers your name. And even when it feels like nothing is happening, everything is happening. Be still. Be watchful. Be faithful. The scroll is still open, and heaven is still working. Type "I will guard my fire" in the comments if this word has settled into your spirit. Blessing code 9900 is now surrounding your silence. You're not the same as yesterday. Your spirit carries the mark of flame. You must understand, you are no longer standing where you were. You are no longer walking as who you were. Something holy happened last night. Something sacred, something irreversible. When your name was written in fire, heaven was not merely identifying you, heaven was transforming you. You are not who you were on October 9th. That version of you was called, but the version of you reading this now has been commissioned. The moment the flame touched your name, it did not simply announce your identity, it rewrote it. You were not just seen. You were sealed. You were not just chosen. You were charged. This fire does not destroy those who belong to God. It elevates them. And though the world around you may still treat you like yesterday's version of yourself, the spirit realm already recognizes the new authority that rests upon you. Even if your surroundings have not yet caught up to your spiritual status, trust me, everything has already changed. The fire did not burn you to wound you. It burned to remove what could not carry you forward. You are now walking in the ashes of the unnecessary. You are now clothed in the embers of everything that once tried to keep you buried in delay, wrapped in confusion, or hidden in false humility. But no more. The ashes have turned to light. The old has passed away. And behold, all things have become flame-forged. You are rising with wings that were formed in the furnace. Not wings of escape, but wings of authority. You were not rescued from the fire. You were reborn in it. Heaven did not extinguish the flame to save you. It surrounded you in flame to reveal you. Because those who are called to carry fire must first survive it. Now listen carefully. You no longer need to ask for permission to walk in what God has already anointed. You no longer have to explain your boldness to people who never saw your wilderness. The flame has validated what men could not understand. You are no longer waiting for confirmation. You are becoming the confirmation. You are no longer hoping for approval. You are the evidence of heaven's decision. Stand up in your spirit. Realize the power of this moment. You carry fire now, not just on your name, but in your mouth, in your hands, in your movements. You are a walking declaration, a mobile altar. You are the answer to a question hell hoped would never be asked. Let this be the hour where you stop looking backward. Let this be the moment where you stop shrinking to fit places that no longer deserve the version of you that emerged from the fire. You have been elevated. You have been refined. You have been rewritten in the language of heaven. No more second guessing. No more apology for the weight you carry. No more compromise with mediocrity. Heaven has branded your name in flame. And now, you carry the evidence. The fire didn't find you to flatter you. It found you to forge you. You are no longer hidden. You are no longer silenced. You are walking flame. Step into that identity now. Own it. Move like one who was called by fire. Speak like one who was sealed in glory. Act like one who knows the heavens have already voted in your favor. Type "I carry the flame" in the comments if you receive this authority. Blessing code 3030 is now manifesting over your journey. This moment is not random. It is an unlocking. The fire inscription means heaven is activating your next season. The fire that wrote your name was not just a heavenly display. It was a prophetic announcement. Last night was not just another night. It was a divine timestamp. It was the convergence of eternity and your calling. And what took place in the Spirit was not symbolic. It was strategic. The inscription of your name in fire marked a transition from identity to activation. Heaven has declared, the wait is over. The Word is becoming flesh. The time is now. This is not motivation. It is revelation. God did not mark your name in fire just to make you feel chosen. He marked it to move you. This isn't about recognition. This is about release. Something has been triggered. Something has been opened. Something has been unlocked in the spiritual realm, and your name is the key. What burned last night was not your future. What burned was the past version of you that could no longer hold your prophecy. What burned was every delay, every doubt, every spiritual parasite that survived only because you didn't know how chosen you truly were. The flame came to cleanse. The flame came to close old chapters. The flame came to burn away what no longer served your assignment. And now, only the purified parts remain. This is why you've been feeling the weight. This is why the shaking has been so intense. Because before heaven releases the new, it silences the old. What you feel pressing on you is the tension between the final breath of your former self and the first inhale of your next dimension. The fire didn't just call you forward. It closed the door behind you. Heaven is not confused. The Spirit of God has timed this perfectly. Before the sun sets on October 10th, your name will be finalized in the course of fire. Not as a question, not as a possibility, but as a sealed commission. A divine activation that cannot be revoked. And those who move with it will walk in an authority that cannot be faked or fabricated. It is not charisma. It is not gifting. It is not platform. It is the proof of having been burned and still standing. There is a glow in heaven's record beside your name. There is a divine aura surrounding your identity. There is fire circling your next assignment, because the enemy must now recognize what the flame has certified. No more hesitation. No more delay. This moment is not just confirmation. It is consummation. Heaven is not repeating itself. This is not a recycled word. This is the one you were born to answer. Your next season is not waiting on an opportunity. It's waiting on your alignment. You were not just remembered. You were activated. And those who walk forward from this moment will not walk as they did before. They will move like those who have seen the scroll, who have touched the fire, who have survived the night and now carry the seal of heaven's yes. Let this revelation settle deep in your spirit. You are already released. The only thing left to do is step into the space that has already been prepared. The flame finished what you were afraid to start. Now, heaven watches. Will you move with the revelation, or will you question the fire that already spoke your name? Type "I am activated" in the comments if this revelation belongs to you. Blessing code 4444 is resting upon your name. If this revelation pierced your soul, if you felt your spirit burn with clarity as this truth was spoken, then understand. This isn't just a message. It's a mission. Every word you hear, every flame-infused prophecy, every script like this reaches souls across nations, because God has chosen this platform to ignite the chosen and wake the sleeping. Your support carries fire. When you give, through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not just giving to content. You are fueling the spread of prophetic fire. Heaven is using this ministry to write names in light, to awaken destinies, to lift voices that hell tried to silence. And your gift becomes a key in the unlocking of someone else's fire moment. He who refreshes others will himself be refreshed. This is not just a proverb. This is prophetic law. Sow into this word today, and I declare that heaven will cause flames of favor to surround your finances, your family, and your future. There is oil in the release, and heaven honors those who keep the fire burning. Move prophetically. Click the links. Fuel the flame. What you release in faith will return in fire. Heaven waits for your yes. There comes a moment when revelation must become response. When the fire that touched your name is no longer just an announcement. It becomes a demand. Heaven is not just speaking over you. Heaven is waiting for you. The scroll is still open. The ink is still blazing. And now the silence of the courts has shifted. They await your answer. This is not the hour of delay. This is not the time for inner debate. You are not waiting on another confirmation, another sign, another person to validate what has already been lit in flame. You are the confirmation. You are the sign. You are the evidence of what heaven has already decided. And your yes, your surrendered, full-bodied, bold, unwavering yes, is the key that activates everything. You must speak. Not to men, not to systems, not to doubt, but to God. You must speak your alignment. Declare it. Prophesy it. Own it. Heaven is not waiting on perfection. Heaven is waiting on permission. God will not force your destiny, but He has already marked it. A flame has already gone ahead. Now, your yes must follow. This is the day to rise and say, I receive the fire that bears my name. This is the moment to declare with holy boldness, I agree with what was written in flame. You don't have to see every detail. You don't have to understand every step. But your yes must come before sunset. Because the scroll does not seal to emotion. It seals to obedience. When you say yes, heaven moves. Angels move. Dimensions open. Hidden things begin to rise to the surface. Prophetic promises long buried begin to shake in their graves. The parts of you that felt forgotten suddenly get clothed in glory. This is not superstition. This is activation. And it does not require you to shout. It requires you to agree. You are not being tested to expose your weakness. You are being awakened to release your strength. You were born with it. Heaven placed it in you before the foundation of the world. That's why the fire came for you and not someone else. That's why the flame inscribed your name last night. Because your spirit already agreed in eternity. Now your voice must agree in time. So rise up now, not in fear, but in fire. Let the weight of this moment drive you to your altar. Whether that altar is your bedroom floor, your car seat, your workplace, or your breathless whisper in the silence. Let your yes shake heaven. Let your obedience unlock the atmosphere. Let your surrender become the signature that finishes the scroll. Pray. Declare. Prophecy. Open your mouth before the sun closes the window. You do not need to feel ready. You need to be willing. The heavens are leaning low. The flame is still warm, but it will not remain open forever. This is not about height. This is about holy alignment. There are things God is ready to release into your hands. Strategies, assignments, favor, relationships, platforms, deliverance, healing. But they are tied to the yes you give before sunset. What you do with this hour will echo across eternity. This is a divine negotiation. And heaven is not silent anymore. The fire has already spoken. Now, it waits for your answer. Say yes. Say it fully. Say it boldly. Say it as if you were standing in front of the throne, because in spirit you are. Type ISAYYS to heaven in the comments if this moment is yours. Blessing code 0001 has been stamped upon your surrender. As you read, angels of transfer move in the spirit realm. Right now, in this very moment, as your eyes take in these words and your spirit leans forward, there is a silent exchange taking place beyond the veil. It is not loud. It is not chaotic. It is not even visible. But it is very real. As you breathe, as you receive, as you agree, heaven is transacting. Something is shifting hands in the spirit. Something is being transferred. And your name, sealed in fire, is the legal access point. The scroll that was opened in the midnight hour did not only inscribe your identity, it initiated a divine release. When heaven wrote your name in fire, it sent a signal across dimensions that the inheritance must now move. You may not feel anything in the natural, but in the spirit, there are angels descending with keys, maps, blueprints, and chains that have been broken. There are resources being re-signed, lands being claimed, gates being opened. And the remarkable truth is this: your surrender initiated the exchange. This is not imagination. This is not mystical suggestion. This is legal exchange in the heavenly realms. Because the courts of God respond to blood, to fire, and to obedience. And you, by agreeing with what heaven wrote, have activated the unseen army assigned to your name. What has been locked, delayed, denied, or overlooked is now being relocated to your hands. But only heaven's fire could have authorized this. And only your yes could have unlocked it. You wonder why you feel unsettled, even now. Why your heart feels heavy, even when your mind doesn't understand why. It is because your spirit caught it before your intellect did. Something was signed on your behalf in the night, and now heaven's agents are executing the transfer. The angels of transfer are not emotional, they are strategic. They move when the record is sealed. They move when the name is marked. They move when heaven has spoken. And they are moving for you. What you lost in silence is being restored in fire. What was taken in darkness is being rewritten in flame. You were never forgotten. You were being positioned. Some things had to be delayed because the fire had not yet marked your name. But now that it has, the transfer cannot be stopped. The old is being reversed. The hidden is being revealed. The locked is being loose. Even while you sleep tonight, there will be movement. While you dream, there will be visitation. While you pray, there will be divine rewriting. There are reports being amended. There are records in the spirit that are being edited, not by man's opinion, but by God's authority. He is reintroducing you to realms that rejected you. He is reassigning what was stolen. He is establishing your name in places where they once refused to speak it. This is the silent hour of spiritual justice, and the fire has already spoken on your behalf. You do not need to fight for what God has already authorized. You do not need to plead for what heaven has already begun releasing. You only need to stay in agreement, to keep your posture, to hold your position. Because what was yours before time began is being handed back in flame. So be still and let the fire speak. Let the angels do their work. Let heaven complete what it started. The flame is not just writing your name, it's writing your return. Type "I receive the transfer" in the comments if you can feel the movement around your name. Blessing code 1717 is now in divine motion. Every lie spoken against your name is returning to sender, through fire. Heaven is not silent anymore. The scroll has been unsealed. The flame has confirmed your name. And now, divine justice has begun. This is not payback. This is prophetic correction. This is not revenge. This is righteous reversal. Every misjudgment, every slander, every curse that was attached to your name without divine permission is now being burned in the fire that authenticated your identity. You need to understand this. God does not allow your name to be written in fire without first preparing justice for everything that tried to bury it in ashes. The fire that marked you is the same fire that now stands as your defense. Heaven has spoken, and what God has confirmed, no demon can contest. This is your vindication hour. There are whispers being silenced even now. There are conversations that once dishonored you being interrupted by conviction. There are spiritual accusations that once stood against you, lies, distortions, half-truths, that are now being drowned in divine flame. And the judge of all things is ruling in your favor. Not tomorrow, not next week, but now. This is the reversal you didn't even know you needed. You were too focused on surviving the fire to realize it was also gathering evidence on your behalf. What was said about you in the shadows is now being exposed under the radiance of holy flame. The same mouths that mocked your stillness will witness your elevation. The same people who questioned your silence will be forced to admit they saw you rise, not through power, not through connections, but through fire-born favor. Let this settle in your spirit. Justice burns hotter than vengeance. Because justice does not just correct the wrong, it restores what was lost. And this flame is not just defending you, it is restoring you. What was stolen, time, reputation, opportunities, is being recalled. What was hindered is now accelerating. What was falsely labeled is now being redefined by the fire that knows the truth about who you are. This isn't just personal. It's generational. This justice is breaking off patterns. Lies that attach themselves to your bloodline, cycles of rejection, delay, limitation, are being incinerated. The fire didn't just come for you. It came for everything that tried to entangle you. The record has been reviewed. The evidence has been weighed. And the gavel has fallen in your favor. Heaven's scales are now tilted toward you. The balance has shifted. You are no longer carrying the weight of accusation. You are clothed in vindication. Not because you fought back. Not because you explained yourself. But because you stood still and let the fire finish what it started. And now, God is speaking to every realm that tried to bury your voice. Touch not the one I have sealed in flame. Even those who tried to delay you will have to watch God promote you. Those who doubted your calling will be forced to witness the confirmation that could only come from heaven. And you won't have to say a word, because the fire has already spoken louder than any defense you could ever give. Let your heart rest in this truth. The reversal has begun. The verdict has changed. And every chain, curse, and false word that once held your name hostage is being consumed right now by the same flame that inscribed your destiny. The fire does not just right. The fire redeems. Type I receive divine justice in the comments if this reversal belongs to you. Blessing Code 2020 is now commanding every realm for your restoration. You are seen, chosen, and anointed. The fire knows your name, and heaven remembers. This is the conclusion of the scroll, but not the conclusion of your calling. Heaven has completed what it started. What began in secrecy, what trembled in silence, what burned unseen in the night, has now spoken boldly across every realm. You have been identified, confirmed, sealed, and elevated. And all of it, every single moment, was written in fire. This is not the end of the message. This is the beginning of movement. You are no longer waiting for a sign. You are no longer asking for proof. The fire was your sign. The message was your proof. What has touched your spirit was not ink on a screen. It was a transaction from eternity, delivered by flame and signed by the hand of God. You are not the same as you were when this day began. The shaking, the stillness, the clarity, the weight, all of it was heaven preparing you to walk forward with your name aflame. You are not walking out of this with mere encouragement. You are walking out commissioned. Every step you take from this point forward is taken as one who has been seen in the courts of fire. Heaven's gaze is upon you. And when heaven sees, heaven secures. Now let me speak this over your spirit as a final decree. You are not invisible. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not forgotten. The flame confirmed what you feared would pass you by. Your obedience has been witnessed. Your silence has been honored. And your name, your true name, the one heaven calls you by, is written in fire that will never fade. Every door that must open for your assignment will now bow to the flame. Every hindrance that once stood before you will melt beneath the weight of what's been written. You are sealed in light, guarded in silence, and rising in purpose. And so I bless you now, not with temporary comfort, but with eternal clarity. May the flame that confirmed you guide your feet, guard your mind, and burn in your bones with unrelenting truth. May your life echo this moment. May everything you touch carry the mark of one who has stood in the fire and not been consumed. You are not broken. You are burning. You are not disqualified. You are destined. You are not empty. You are filled with fire. Go forward. The scroll has been sealed. The sun has not yet set. The path is lit. And your name is still glowing. You are seen. You are chosen. You are anointed. And heaven remembers. Type "I am written in fire" in the comments if this final blessing is yours. Blessing code 1010 has now sealed your scroll. Before this message ends, I want to speak directly to the hearts that were ignited by this prophetic word. If this word confirmed what your spirit already knew, if you felt the weight of heaven throughout this message, then now is the time to respond not only in word, but in worship through giving. You're not supporting a person. You're fueling a movement of fire. Every seed you sow, whether through YouTube Super Thanks, channel membership, or the PayPal link in the video description, goes directly into spreading these heavenly scrolls, into reaching the next soul whose name is waiting to be revealed in flame. The Holy Spirit says, when you sow into fire, you reap in light. This is not a transaction. It's a divine alignment. When you give into this word, you are releasing agreement into the very flame that marked you. To those who feel led, don't wait. Let your seed meet the moment. Let your offering become a prophetic declaration. I agree with what heaven has written. Give boldly. Give with fire in your spirit. And watch how God honors what you release. Sow into this fire. Support the message. Partner with the flame. The link is below.